Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California with Universal Broadcasting Network Radio TV, and then every Thursday on my syndicated CNBC NBC News Radio channel, KCAA AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere and all the time on iHeartRadio. And this is a show about hope and happiness, so there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And I'm so glad to be back. I can't believe I've been gone for 5 weeks on a beautiful book and speaking tour all over Europe, and also ending up in Tampa. And as usual, I'm going to do my peace in, peace outs, but very quickly, because 5 weeks I met a lot of wonderful people. But these are the people I promised that I would do a shout out to: Gabrielle Augustin, Corey, Captain Charles, and Captain Cameron on Spirit Airlines, Kiara and Sarah at Diamond Resorts. These are excellent customer service. And peace in, peace out, my Paris sleeping car travel mates from Cordova: Martin, Matilda, Claudia, and Shanto, Veronica, and Mark. My seatmates to Prague, Canada: Shebal, Michelle, the guy that helped me with my suitcases in Rome, Dragon and Ivana, James at Verizon, Justin at Verizon, Claire at Sunglass Hut in London, Igor at Wiz, Sam and Graham, who gave me enough money to get a Krispy Kreme with my change in the Luton Airport from the Save the Children Foundation, Demise, Bono on Costa Cruise Line, which, by the way, I actually came in second on the Voice competition. JetBlue, Kimberly, Dan and Cole from Minnesota, who killed me at Rats game. The Women of Global Change, where I was invited to speak. Amazing week on the boat, helping build facilities for refugee women and children in Barcelona. Thank you, Shelley Hunt and Aaron Saxton, and all of my mates. Brenda, I mean, there's just too many. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I had a blast. My final day at the very shishi hotel over there. And then finally a week at CEO Space International in Tampa, to all of my students in the team program in both Women of Global Change and at CEO Space. And they'll be my guests in the fall for Thanksgiving and my Christmas show. So peace in and peace out. I loved meeting you. Thank you so much for making my 5 weeks unbelievably amazing. And today is a show about hope. And this one's a special one because I just named someone Dr. Hope, and he is Jeff Lefkowitz, who started in the 90s as a doctor of chiropractic with certifications and degrees in the field of acupuncture, kinesiology, neuroscience, exercise physiology, natural medicine, diet, and muscle therapies. It's his mission to master leading-edge knowledge, expertise, and systems in neuroscience, biomechanics, and behavioral strategies to help his clients heal with hope. A movie about his work, One Day or Day One, has been met with rave reviews and will be playing on ESPN and Lifetime this year. I've dubbed him Dr. Hope, and you'll soon see why. And then we have Danny Gomez, who I met. Actually, I met both of them at our Vision to Wealth keynote. We were all on stage at the Hyatt a couple months ago. He moved to LA from New Orleans after losing his home in Hurricane Katrina. He recently suffered an injury that forced him to reevaluate his life and his goals. Danny is now in full pursuit of making the best of his life and his situation, participating in adaptive sports, films, and being a mentor to the disabled community. Please welcome, without further ado, Jeffrey and Danny to the studio.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, I guess.
Good afternoon. For me, it's morning, I think.
So I am so glad to have you at this. We've been trying to put this together, and with my travel plans, we had to move it a couple times, but I'm so glad that you're here. And before we even do anything, I wanted to play a little clip from this movie that made me cry probably 8 times yesterday, and I wanted to share it, just segments of it, because I wanted to have time to actually talk to y'all. So we'll watch it right now, and Tony, take it away.
Like exorcist, I'm like, how did you think of that? And I'm like, what are you making me do? Sometimes it's torture, but he does it because he wants to help me, and understand that. It's like the love-hate kind of relationship.
He made me do 100 squats on my first day. And I was like, man, this guy's crazy, you know, he's making me do things that I've never even done before.
He would say stuff, and in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I could do that. What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, you could do it. And I'm like, okay. And most of the time, I could do it.
When you do hands-on healing work with people, you have to have some sort of spirituality because of just the energy exchange between you and the person, and sometimes you just find that there's much more than you that's kind of guiding you through a process.
He said, you're proof that mind over matter is a real phenomenon because people with your mentality are the ones that I can help.
I believe that these guys are in the biggest battle of their lives, you know, and I believe that this is the front line, this is the trenches. And so we're in this battle together, and you know what? If they're gonna fight as hard as they're gonna fight to come back from this, well, I'm gonna fight equally as hard, if not harder, for them.
First day I met Jeff, he was kind of strict. I didn't know he was gonna smile or what.
Good. Through the heels, now drive those knees down. Drive those knees down towards the floor, smash it, good.
I think he was gonna go really hard on me, but he's an amazing person. He's such a soft heart. It's unbelievable.
One of my big pet peeves is if I ask somebody to do something and they start telling me, well, I can't do this because of this, and they already start talking themselves out of it before they've actually given it a shot. I'm not having this conversation with you about your disbelief.
Your mental attitude and having a positive approach to your recovery is probably 90% of it.
It took a little bit, but eventually I was able to convince him, hey, let's have you jump up on a box. And he hadn't jumped in years.
Positive energy, constant exploration. If he asked me to do something and I had too much difficulty doing it, he would rethink it immediately and approach it from another angle, not give up on it.
Let me just change my mind frame. Instead of thinking, let me get through this, let me start thinking, this is another great opportunity for me to start walking. But it's one step closer to my recovery. Instead of saying, I want to walk again, I tell myself I am going to walk again.
And that is a segment from a film. You're getting teared up. I know. I just got teared up. This is a film that is actually out in all of the film festivals now, so you can support it. I am going to just... I usually do this at the end, but I'm just going to do it now because anyone who is paralyzed from tragedy, an accident, from birth, whatever it is, it's not easy. And it's easier to just not try. And so the fact that you have acted on hope, the fact that you are hope, and for the hopeless, you both get Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. And I don't give that to all my guests, Tony can tell you. But that movie just capsulizes that no matter what, life is fabulous. And that's why I wanted you both on the show. And so that's from the Abilities Recovery Center. And just a little bit, that movie was made because someone contacted you, had heard about the work that you were doing with people that were paralyzed and getting results that weren't.
Came from New York.
Okay.
Somebody heard from us, heard about us from New York City and came from New York, called up and said, hey, we'd like to do a documentary, kind of explore this story.
Yeah, and here it is, and I mean, it blew up on social media when I accidentally didn't know I wasn't supposed to show it.
Yeah.
And I did, and I'm glad because nobody told me I couldn't.
Yeah.
Even though if you had told me I couldn't, I probably would have done it even
Well,
more.
you know, yeah, and I'm glad that you did. You know, when I found out yesterday that you had put it out on social media, I immediately called the director and I said, "Oops." But I explained a situation that happened the night before where a large group of people got to see this movie, and literally from the last couple of minutes where it's showing all of the accomplishments of the people that are in the movie, people were on their feet cheering and screaming at the screen. There wasn't a dry eye in the house, and the applause went for another 3 minutes past the end of the movie.
Wow.
The cheers that the clients were getting, I mean, I wish they could have been there for that moment.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah, we'll film it next time. Yeah, that was the Kiss the Monkeys event,
Yeah,
and
the
I'm
Kiss the Monkeys
actually a member of that. I got thrown in there too, and
Nice.
if I weren't in Europe, I would have been there. So
Fantastic, yeah.
But that's
It was a wonderful
so
event.
awesome.
It was great. A great
Al,
event.
right?
Yeah, Al.
Yeah.
Al Harris. It was
Yeah.
great. Kiss the
Peace in
Monkeys.
and peace out.
Yeah, peace in, peace out. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
that's awesome. So let's go to Danny. You got equal amount of billing and a lot of love on social media when I showed your clip that I was smart enough to get, even before I knew I was going to have you on the show, where you spoke about. So for those of you who haven't seen that clip, tell me a little about how you ended up in a wheelchair.
2 years ago, I go out on my normal day of mountain biking with a couple friends, actually my brother-in-law and a friend from work. And it was just a normal day. We're at the top of the mountain, and I like the adrenaline rush of riding my bike. I've been riding since I was a kid. And I see this little hill that I want to jump off of, not thinking anything, thinking I'm gonna.
And you've been riding like a long time. It's not like this was your first try.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was a matter of I see this hill, I want to jump, and I didn't look where my landing zone was before I jumped, and I remember just speeding down and hitting the incline, and as soon as I hit, I looked down and I went, oh, you know,
shiitake.
Oh, shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I just remember a smack, and I blacked out, and when I came to, I was just staring up at the bluest sky ever, and I knew instantly that something was wrong. So from there, I was airlifted out of there from, with the helicopter, and I come to find out I had a T11, T12 vertebrae that popped out and bent my spinal cord, so it was a instant paralyzation of below my belly button.
Wow. And then
I went through like a year and a half of depression, not wanting to leave. I thought my life was over. For me, moving was a big part of my life. I always did everything fast. I walked fast, I drove fast, and then to not be able to move, it was like a terrifying nightmare that I was in.
Yeah.
And I was looking for some type of hope.
Right. But you were hopeless.
Exactly.
I mean, that was a year and a half of why bother. Did people try to help you? Like, did people try to? Your sister probably, tried to talk you out of it or give you hope.
Yeah, and I think it's harder for the family members because they don't know what to do in that situation.
Right.
They know physically they need to move you from here to there. They need to clean up after you and do that. But mentally, there's only so much that a family member can do mentally for you. You have to make the decision yourself.
Yeah.
To change the way you think.
Yeah.
And
so how did that happen?
Finally, I just got fed up with it, and I was like, I need to do something. I need to figure something out. So I found this rehabilitation center.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Jeff Lefkowitz, who literally changed my life from the first day I met him.
What happened?
From day one.
What happened? What did he say to you?
He didn't say anything. He pushed me to do things I didn't think were possible. He had me standing up. I was doing these like squats. And mind you, I'm paralyzed. And I'm like, there's no way I can do that.
Right.
And we had to do this 100 squat challenge. And he's like, you can do it. And by squat 20, in my head, I'm like, there's no freaking way. Next, I'm at 100 squats. Yep. I'm sweating. I'm about to pass out. And he's like, you see, you could do it.
Wow. So he pushed you past your excuses.
Past my excuses, past my doubts, my self-doubts of myself, and the fear.
So restoring the belief in what you could do.
Exactly.
I'm branding you right now. We're making up more commercials here. Yeah. That's what I got from listening to all of the love-hate relationships from your clients who like,
I felt the same way.
That's it. It's like he's not doing things for you. He's proving to you that you could do it.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever like want to give up and say this is too hard?
I never really liked to work out even before my injury. Like, I like to play sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, just being consistent and going there every day, like that wasn't in my DNA basically.
Right.
But because I was seeing, changes, and I was actually gaining certain things that I didn't have before, getting stronger, upper body, and
So you're seeing results.
Seeing the results, and that made me want to go back. And plus, I wanted to be around Jeff. I look forward to like being around this dude, and I know we're all gonna be crying here, so just get ready for it.
I know it.
But, well, I love it when people
and
cry.
I love you, brother. Thank you so much. That's nice.
Because that means that the hearts are open.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. So yeah, he became very attractive to me after that. I actually said, "Are you single?" And he goes, "Yes, but I'm very busy."
Right.
But that just, it's so beautiful to see people who know what they're here to do. And so you obviously have gotten your calling. You're in the studio. You're in the Abilities Recovery Center every day. Your life work is to help people who don't think that they can do it. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom
Every
line, yeah.
single person in that video, got a belief in themselves that they didn't have before. And I think if you're just tuned in and you're wondering who I have in my studio today talking about hope and belief in self and being able to overcome accidents that end up in paralysis, I have the Abilities Recovery Center founder, Jeffrey Lefkowitz, and one of his clients and someone who is now an actor and an activist and someone who's taking what happened to him and not feeling sorry for himself, but actually using his experience, Danny Gomez, to make a difference on the planet for people who are just, I believe, in a special way, gifted with the tragedy that they had. And that's not an easy corner to turn.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm so delighted to have both of them in the studio. You are listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa. And so what do you encounter? Because you, in that clip, and obviously I picked the part that said spirituality because I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. And the difference between the two, I would say, is, religion is for people who want to avoid going to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who have already been there. And so what part of that would you say makes a difference in the client? I think Patrick said something to the effect of, looking at things differently, or somebody on there, instead of saying I can't do it, or, I am blessed with, or I can, I am able to. So just when I say spirituality, what do you mean by that, or how do you interpret that?
Well, for me, spirituality is just being spiritual, being in touch with whatever your God or a higher power is. I don't need to really put any names for anybody. For myself, typically I meditate every morning and pray every morning, and just to cover all my bases, I say God, source of all universe.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of covers everything before I do my prayers. But yeah, spirituality to me, like you said, is you've been through hell, and now you're able to give it back.
Right. And so spirit energy, right? So the role of energy that plays into the healing process of what you went through. Talk to that.
Yeah, I mean, like for the energy.
Yeah.
I definitely feed off of if I wake up and I'm smiling in the morning, or if I wake up and I just don't, it's more days than not that I wake up and I'm like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
Because there's so much that I have to do before I even leave the house. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I gotta go through that again.
Right.
But I've been trying to fuel my life with the energy of people like Jeff, and getting into sports and being around people that tell me that I inspire them. Like, all that feeds my soul and like gives me that energy to do it every day.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you say to yourself when you start having the why bother? Like, this is too hard, or all the things that I have to do just to get myself dressed and out of the house.
I feel first of all, if I succumb to those feelings, then I go to that dark place and it's hard to get out of there. So, I just try to fight those feelings.
Yeah.
Even as much as I don't want to get out that day.
Right.
Because more often than not, for me, when I do decide to leave the house, something good happens.
Yeah.
Even if it's just me going to the grocery store and getting my groceries, I did something.
Right.
I have something I didn't have before that I need.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that getting out there, and that's something that I've preached before, is if you stay home, nothing's gonna happen. And nothing's gonna happen if you stay home. It's just, you got to get out and live.
Yeah.
Live. I mean, for me, it was a freak accident. I left my house and something bad happened to me. And it's weird to say that my life is 100 times better than it was before.
Hello?
It's crazy.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? So everyone, and I know I asked specifically if you know anyone who's paralyzed to tune into the show, and we'll be sharing this after. So if you are paralyzed, if you literally are in the same position that Danny Gomez is, then I want you to just say that again, okay? So because really, I can't say anything to someone who is paralyzed because I have no idea what they're going through, no matter how good at empathy I am. Even though I was beaten as a child, to the point where I was hospitalized, I still don't know what it's like. My pain is not the same as that pain. So I am absolutely convinced that we all go through tragedy or some kind of chiseling in pain. One, to really find that gift that we have, that's unique talent, gift, and ability. And two, to be able to share and say to someone who is in a similar situation, I get you.
Yeah.
I really know what you're going through in a wheelchair.
Right.
I get it. So say that again. So this is specific. I want you to look in the camera and say, this is for anyone who's in a wheelchair.
This is for anyone who's in a wheelchair, paralyzed, is dealing with any type of neurological disease where you can't move. And this might sound really weird because before my accident, I could walk. I was normal. There's people that I've missed from before my accident and things that I've missed doing. But the world that opened up for me afterwards, once I made that decision to not let this injury defeat me, it gave me all the power that I needed to live my life and find my creativity and my soul.
Amen.
So you can do it. You can do it.
Yep.
Right?
Amen, brother. Absolutely.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
And it sucks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I know my middle name is Pollyanna, but but this is why I do what I do. I mean, this is why I love what I do, because I get to balance out all of the negative BS belief systems that keep us in that dark hole.
Yeah.
Right. That we think that we're never gonna, if we fall in, we'll never get out and we'll be like Humpty Dumpty, but it's not true. You'll fall in for a little bit and then you will get out this magnificent. Tell me some of the things that you're doing now, because I know there's like a bunch of really good shiitake going on.
This is random, but besides going to ARC, that gave me confidence.
Right.
And then it gave me confidence to open myself up to new experiences. So one day I get this random text message, hey, do you want to be part of this project this Saturday? I didn't have the number saved. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to see where this goes.
Okay.
From that, I ended up doing a short film that I acted in. We ended up winning Best Film for the film festival, is Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, and now we're qualified for Academy Award short film. Yeah.
That's so, thank you. I was just going to say, that is so freaking awesome.
Right.
So can we, like, influence that at all? Like, vote for it or do something to support
Definitely,
it?
actually share the film, because what Easter Seals did is they're opening people's eyes, the community of disabled actors, because we don't get a lot of love in the industry.
Yeah.
And Nick Novicki, he's the creator and founder. He's pushing those films out there. So our film is called Checkmate by Carl Hansen. And
Checkmate by Carl Hansen.
It's a funny film, and it's really well done. And I had a blast doing it. And I was throwing in the lines then, and I came out with some scratches, but we did it, and it was great.
Fantastic. Yeah. That is fantastic.
So that's on my Facebook page, and you can find that. You can even find that on YouTube. Checkmate Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge.
Checkmate Easter Seals
Disability
Film Challenge. Say that 3 times.
Right.
And Danny Gomez, your Instagram's a little difficult for me to type out. So how to find you on Instagram?
I know, and if I would have known that
you were gonna blow up like this, you would have.
I would have put my name.
Right.
But it's at DG Style, DGSTYLE.
Yeah.
I was trying to be clever, like Danny Gomez style.
Okay. Well, that helps. That helps.
Right.
Well, soon I'm just gonna put it out there. You're going to have to put the real Danny Gomez or the official Danny Gomez.
And my Twitter's even worse if you want to hear that one. But
yeah, go.
When Twitter first came out, I signed up, never used it.
All right.
And I named myself at Laugh My Ass Off. Sorry, I don't know if I say that, but
I'm going to have to spend money video editing that out for this CNBC channel, but that's okay. I think in a name we're okay, right? Okay.
Okay.
But that's fantastic.
My first
beep.
Congratulations.
That's wonderful. And I am getting the signal. It is time for us to thank the sponsors of today's show. We will be right back with the Abilities Recovery Center, Danny Gomez, Jeff Lefkowitz, and you are tuned in to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balance with Dr. Marissa. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Remember, it's all about balance, peace in, and peace out. Do you know someone who's been paralyzed from an accident? Have they lost hope? Well, I have great news. Paralysis does not have to be a life-debilitating sentence. The Abilities Recovery Center in LA is a neurological injury rehabilitation institute that uses leading-edge practices for body, mind, and spirit recovery so that life is worth living again. Let Dr. Jeffrey Lefkowitz, who I call Dr. Hope, help you never give up, because your life counts no matter what. For more information, text HOPE to 26786. That's HOPE to 26786. Want to be happy 88% of the time? Want to be happy without medication that can have dangerous side effects? 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are is an inside-out solution for past pain and future fear, because pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. If you read and do the heart-opening exercises, you will never hate yourself the same way again. Order at www.8waystohappiness.com and drmarissa.tv to find out when she'll be signing at a bookstore near you. And we are back. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon here out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California with UBN Radio TV, Universal Broadcasting Network, and then every Thursday syndicated on my CNBC, NBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5. 102.3, and then everywhere on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and anywhere you find podcasts. So you are just having a wonderful, delighted offering today of hope in the largest way possible with the Abilities Recovery Center founder, Jeffrey Lefkowitz, and one of his favorite clients, we won't tell anybody else, Danny Gomez, who is here sharing hope and happiness. So what do you think when people come to you hopeless? So what have you found to be the best way to kind of deal with that hopelessness? I mean, people say that, they don't think they can do it, and then you make them think you can do it. Do you ever like coddle a little bit and say, I understand it must be difficult, or, and the reason why I'm asking this is, I think, is there a better way to communicate, and Danny, you can chime in on this too, with people who are in wheelchairs, who are, it's kind of that uncomfortable, how do you talk to someone with a disability? How do you not patronize and yet at the same time not insult?
Well, we do it just with consistency, consistent progress, consistent results, consistently showing up, and consistent effort. And really, it's the same thing that we're asking for our friends, our brothers and sisters, our family that come in there. It's just that consistency. And so how do I do it? I'm just real about it. And that's really all it is. I'm a teacher. I have some information in my head that can help guide people to access that pathway to maybe open up areas that are closed off. But really and truly, they're the students, they're the ones that have to write the equation, make the book of their story. They're the ones that have to do all the work, you know? And it's really just me kind of guiding them the way.
Have you ever had anybody that couldn't do it, that wouldn't do it?
Oh, we've had several people that won't do it, you know, or that will put up a fight. Absolutely.
Okay.
And
so there,
for most of the instances, after a bit, they come around.
Yeah.
They start to see the benefit of believing in themselves.
Okay. So that is key, is that their work is believing in themselves. So that's the key that turns that. They have to have some modicum of belief in themselves.
Well, I believe that's kind of where I said believe. I think that's where it starts. You know, you have to kind of have belief in your God and believe in yourself. You know, to start there.
That
you
you're
have to
not
start
being
there.
punished.
You're not being punished. Believe in yourself.
Okay.
That's where it starts.
Okay.
Right. Once you open yourself up to getting better and letting things happen for you, not to you, then you, like, for me, I every day it's like, I don't deserve this. This isn't how my life's supposed to be. I stop making excuses, and that's all it is. Mentally, you have to make the decision yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Because Jeff can talk to you till you're blue in the face about how he can help you and what's wrong with you and how you can make it better. But unless you make that decision, you're still going to be stuck where you're at.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's a dark place that these folks are in.
Yeah.
And, I can appreciate it. Like you, I haven't been paralyzed.
Right.
I'm in this world. I see it every day. I can tell you backwards and forwards all kinds of presentations and crazy things that will happen, but do I know what it feels like?
Yeah.
Do I actually know what it's like to experience it with my hands on it every day? No, I don't.
Right.
But actually, if you think about it, the worst thing besides being physically paralyzed is being mentally paralyzed.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the people that are in our community, we know that. We're like, we can't be mentally paralyzed and physically paralyzed.
Right.
Let's choose one or the other.
Right.
You know what
That's
I mean?
brilliant.
And absolutely.
So because we can't get rid of the physical paralyzation right away,
Yeah.
then we choose to open our minds up.
Right.
And I know
have
that's
to.
hard. Yeah.
No, and I think that's brilliant. I mean, even Patrick mentions it in the film when he says, that 90% of his healing took place in his mind.
Exactly.
I mean, I always say, don't discredit that 10% that I'm there in your face. Okay, because that 10%, I'm going to kick your behind.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, he will.
But
Right.
for that 90%, that's what's really going to kick your behind if you don't get that in gear. That's what you got to get under control.
Right. We have someone tuning in from Italy, so that's
What's
kind of
up,
cool.
Italy? We were
Yeah, Chari. So, it was a brilliant thought too, and I just thought I'm going to blame it on jet lag. Oh, I know. so some common things. I used to teach diversity, valuing diversity, and one of the things we would talk about. That's the other thing I was going to say. I had a friend Larry who had a stroke, and he used to say, the only handicap is a bad attitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he was paralyzed too.
True.
So going back, that some common mistakes we make when communicating with people in wheelchairs is we talk down to them, and because of the height difference, the wheelchair is lower, and we have a tendency to sort of look down. And I noticed even when we were taking pictures here, you automatically got to your knees, not to propose to me, but got on your knees
Sometime
to be at
soon,
the
yeah.
same. same
Let me get a first aid.
So okay. So you could be eye to eye with Danny.
Heart to heart, really.
Heart to heart.
I'm
Okay.
in this life. I can understand some of the perspective. I've learned a lot. In standing there and sharing with people, they say, well, this is the view of the world that I get sometimes, and so I'm just aware of it.
Right, right. Are there other tips that you have, maybe, that I know that we need to have a little discussion, because the Sunset Gower studio, that there's only one bathroom that is actually handicap wheelchair friendly.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah, the things that you should think about when you're out in the public, when you see that the handicap bathroom, disabled, the accessible bathroom, just don't use it. I mean, I run into so many times where there's 5 stalls and then the disabled stall, and somebody's in the disabled. I get it that it's bigger, it's comfy, but it's bigger for a reason, because we need to put our chair in there.
Yeah. Good point.
But as far as how when you see someone in public, we're still people.
Right.
We just have little cool vehicles we roll around in.
Right.
So just don't ignore us. I mean, I know people in this day and age, it's like someone talking to you in public is like, oh my God, why is he talking to me? I'm from the South. I'm from New Orleans, so we say hi to everyone. We ask about your family, even though we've never met them.
Right.
And that's one of the things I struggled with after my injuries. When I went out into public, it was like people would look away from me.
Because they're uncomfortable.
And it made me uncomfortable. It made me like, oh my God, not so self-conscious.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I bet that they're doing that because they don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So the intent and the impact completely miss each other.
Right.
So they're thinking that they're doing something. They're intentionally trying to make you feel comfortable. But the impact is you're even more uncomfortable.
Right. And there's one thing that happened to me recently. Sorry, I cut you
No,
off
no,
there,
no.
but,
That's okay.
with people asking, I don't mind if people ask me what happened to me, because I like sharing that story.
Right.
Because you never know how you could be helping someone in that moment.
Go. Yeah.
But don't ask what's wrong with you. Because there's nothing wrong with us. We're still people. We just got hurt. It's what happened, not what's wrong. Does that make sense, Jeff?
Big point.
Big difference, right?
Big point. Beautiful. So there's nothing wrong with you. And I say that about able-bodied people. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with anyone on the planet, on the 7.3 billion of us. There's nothing wrong with us. There's a whole bunch of things that are right with us.
Right.
And the important thing is to try to find
those
what's
things.
right instead of looking for what's wrong.
Because even in able-bodied people, there's something happening.
Oh, yeah,
There could be
there's a
something
lot
to them
happening.
that day. And it might seem like there's something wrong with them, but it's because something happened.
Right.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to talk to us. We're normal people. We might have stories that might help you in that day.
Yeah. Beautiful. How do people support you in the Abilities Recovery Center? Because I think your model should be duplicated and replicated, because it's not an enabling recovery center. And I think I have, that seems to be, I was trying to figure out the difference. Why is your process more? And I actually have a friend who was on the show too with the robotics, and theirs also was based on what's right with you, and that belief in the self, and not letting the excuse enable no progress.
Right.
So how can we support what you're doing?
Well, I mean, just tuning in and watching us, we have a lot of really exciting things coming up here.
Yep. Well, you're going to be on ESPN and Lifetime.
Well, we were just on Lifetime.
Just on Lifetime. Okay. And what was that that the film was on, or
no,
an
the
interview?
Lifetime Network show was for a show called This Time Next Year. One of
Okay.
our clients, Cody, was on that show, and his goal in a year was to be able to walk.
Wow. So you get to help with that.
Yeah, I did get to help with that. We went through the year, so he filmed it prior. We went through the year, and in the end, he was able to walk in one of the machines that we created.
That's so amazing. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. Awesome. And then ESPN is coming up.
Yep, ESPN is coming up. It should be anywhere between tomorrow night and the 2nd of August. They're kind of giving us a
Right.
kind of an open-ended date.
Okay. And then go to Facebook, Abilities Recovery Center, and give them a finger. Thumbs up, the
Yeah.
same way you do for Dr. Marissa. And that'll help too with the numbers. And just spread the word. If you know anybody who is paralyzed for whatever reason and has lost hope, there's hope. You know, there's a hope for you to really understand the beauty that you are. And you never know, you might be in a Academy Award nominated movie like Danny was. So we definitely have a path that is ready for you.
We're eligible for the Academy. We're not nominated yet. That would.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll do my best to
Yeah, right.
throw something in there.
What's up,
that
Academy?
way. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I actually had Jerry Jewell on the show years ago, but she was the first. She was an epileptic and cerebral palsy actress on major network. So she was on Full House, Facts of Life. So I think it's time.
Right.
I think all facets of diversity need to be represented.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my last question of all my guests is, what are you grateful for? So what are you grateful for? So on the count of 3, point to the person in the room that you want to start. 1, 2, 3. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I'd be happy to start.
Okay.
I mean, like I said before, the real juice for me is watching these guys go through the process and find that success, and that's what I'm grateful for. On a daily basis, I wake up every single day happy to be able to see that
To be a
happen
part of that.
and to be
Yeah.
a part of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm grateful for that second chance at life and being born again.
Right on.
Because I literally was born again. I had, I was like a baby.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to sit, how to feed myself, how to get dressed. And that second chance led to me meeting Jeff and the people at Abilities Recovery Center, and really changed my life. And of course, I'm grateful for my sister who's next to me. You can't see her, but
She
she's
can
here.
pop in. She'll pop in over. She's beautiful. I'm so glad that she got to be here. And she's a beautiful inside and out soul. And I think I told her first that I wanted you on my show, right?
Oh, yes.
Right? And then she goes running over. Guess what? So that's like perfect. And Jeff, thank you for making that possible too. And that is all we have for today's interview with the fabulous Abilities Recovery Center.com, I believe, too,
Yes.
on Facebook. Danny Gomez, I just know that you are going to continue to have not 100 times better in your life, but 100,000 billion times better in what's going to go on. And to you as well. I'm just blessed and grateful. This is going to be one of those shows that goes viral.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And now it's the end of the show where I get to invite you to come up and step up to my balance bar, where I invite you to join me for my Asian Oprah giveaway. I am going to give you an Asian Oprah giveaway of my motivational cards to everyone that actually comes to a book signing. Yes, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. My newest baby that took 9 months to write, published by Morgan James, New York, forward by Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother, who had his birthday, by the way, on Sunday, and Stevie Wonder came to sing happy birthday to him. Not every day that happens. And I got to sing on stage with my choir for that. So he wrote the foreword. I'm going to be on his show on my birthday, August 10th, on KPFK 90.7 at 1 p.m. PST, so make sure you tune in for that. And then I have a plethora of book signings that you will see on drmarissa.tv. So if you go to any one of those, starting with Fern's Garden on August 7th at 7 p.m. in Belmont Shore, to Thursday at Tattered Covers in Denver, and they only invite rock stars, so when I got invited, that was pretty cool. Coming back to Mission Viejo, Barnes & Noble at 7 on Friday on my birthday. Saturday, Marina Pacifica, Barnes & Noble at 12, at 7 at Burbank, Barnes & Noble, Sunday at Alice's Quiet Mind for Agape, and then at 4 p.m. in Redlands. So Barnes & Noble there. Please come and support. I would love to make this book a New York Times bestseller. I only need 9,000 copies sold. So I'm like Alice in Wonderland. We believe in 6 impossible things before breakfast, but it is a book. It's a self-help on steroids. It's for the 1 in 4 Americans who are currently on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and still anxious and depressed, and now have side effects, dangerous side effects. Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, all the teenage suicides. No suicidal thoughts before the medication. I'm not saying that the medication doesn't help some people, but people need to know that you do not have to have a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So I promise if you work the exercises and read the book all the way through, then you will never hate yourself the same way again. So please do pick it up. It's a cross between I'm okay, you're still okay, and don't sweat the small stuff and the big stuff. 8ways-to-happiness.com. On August 1st, around 86 of the 21-day fast from complaining starts. So if you want something different in your life that only costs 99 cents on the App Store, that is to stop complaining for 21 consecutive days. I promise your relationships will get better with yourself and with other people. Let's see. Thank you to Purple Planet Music for providing always the music to my promos. And next week, I'm so excited for my Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa series. Every last week of the month, I become the new Asian Dr. Ruth, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated topic. So I actually have a very exciting guest coming to talk about her own sexual healing, and you know her. It is the most watched video in all time. Yes, it's the Thriller video, and Ola Ray, who's Michael Jackson's dance partner in the Thriller music video, will be my guest next week on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out. That's world peace through inner peace. See you next week.